Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, the best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
What's going on, everybody? It's The Rewind. It's that show brought to you by Smacked Raw, where myself and RN take a look back at the latest week in and outside the ring of professional wrestling. Joining us today from the ShElite Showcase, which you can catch live on Twitch every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Miss Savannah Garcia. How you doing, Savannah?
I'm doing good, just a bit tired. I almost fell asleep on my way here, but I made it, and that's all that matters.
Is it the Forbidden Door hangover? Is that what's going on?
Probably, yeah. I've been pretty lethargic all day, not gonna lie. So it's not COVID, I promise, but I think it was a Forbidden Door hangover because it was a really good pay-per-view.
It was a long one too. Yeah, that's gonna be kind of the main topic of today, folks. That's kind of what you and I do, RN, is whenever we follow up a pay-per-view, we'll usually just 90% of the show is just going to be our thoughts leading into the pay-per-view and how the show went. You know, this isn't like an official recap, by the way, folks. So, you know, we might not talk about all the matches, which there were plenty of them, but mainly just our overall thoughts. Usually RN and I like to touch on the things that really blow us away, and then also the things that we think completely stunk up the joint. You guys, though, before we get into the show, we want to thank everybody for joining us live on twitch.tv/SmackedRaw. You guys can catch all of our live episodes of The Rewind there, typically Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, we usually record on Mondays if we're following a pay-per-view. If you miss any of those live shows, we're on YouTube, youtube.com/SmackedRaw. Where's that subscribe button? There it is. Boom, right over Moxley's face. And then, of course, the audio version of these podcasts are found everywhere you can find them. Before we dive into it, Savannah, I was able to talk about your Thursday recordings. Is there anything else you or Katie wanted to plug before we get into the official show?
Yes, hold on. I got a script. Okay. Okay, so pretty much if you want to find anything ShElite Showcase, you can follow Katie on Twitter at KatieWrestling13, where she has the link tree in her bio, and it'll take you to all things ShElite Showcase, including like how Kyle said, our weekly show on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also find us on YouTube, where we have our, if you missed the live shows, you can go catch the recordings on YouTube. We're so close to that custom URL. We're like 5 subscribers away, so please go subscribe. And we're also on audio versions if you're not into watching, which I don't know why. I think watching's a little bit better. We're on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And we also have merch. We have the classic logo shirt, but we also have merch for the little political, but a pro wrestling pro-choice shirt. All proceeds go to Planned Parenthood, just because it follows our political beliefs as women. So if you want to check that out and show support, you can go there. And we do, like Kyle said, a weekly recap show every Thursday. Katie has shows like Inside the Mind of, which is an interview series that Katie does with people in the wrestling community, as well as In the Crowd, which is another collab show / game show with other podcasters. And then, of course, I have my own podcasting show called The New Japan Takeover, where we do all things New Japan, which I will do a full recap of the full pay-per-view of Forbidden Door sometime this week. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All of which I would like to politely say, fuck both you girls, because I have not been on any of the shows that y'all have been doing.
Oh my
and
goodness.
I've made numerous requests to y'all. What type of shit is that? I thought we were friends.
We are friends. You know what? How about if you again, I don't know, sometime this week we plan on doing a recap for Forbidden Door. So the invitation's all yours. Just let me hit me up.
What day are you talking about? Because I'm literally booked up this week. It's the first time ever I'm doing that show every week, every day this week.
Oh shit! We're planning it on Friday, probably Friday. But if you can't,
what time Friday?
In the morning, like in the early morning.
Let me know, because I'm actually traveling, but I don't know what time we're leaving. I might be able to do it.
All right, cool. I will let you know.
What shows are you doing already? You say you're booked?
I'm doing First on the Top Rope and in an NXT UK show with Bob.
Oh, nice. Oh, how is Bob doing?
Good. We had some back and forth about the whole decision with the Supreme Court and stuff and everything, and I finally told him, "Oh, you can't fucking let me on your show, but you can message me about that shit." Like, no, we need to fix that. So I guilted him and let me on the show.
As you should have, man. Yeah, no, fuck that overturn of that shit. No, that was some garbage. All right, y'all, man. We're here to talk about Forbidden Door. We're leading into Raw too. By the way, like, this is weird. This is the only other thing I wanted to mention really quick before we get into Forbidden Door. John Cena turning in on Raw tonight, man. Y'all excited for that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's always good to see him return, not gonna lie. For me, it's always good to see him back.
It took me a long time to come around to John Cena because, like, I loved freestyling throwback jersey John Cena, but I never liked John Cena. But I'm coming around to it. I'm coming around to it.
Yeah, sweet deal, man. I'm just hoping he sets up something with like Austin Theory because that is what I want to see.
Yeah.
Who have I been telling y'all for 2 years who he is and who he reminds me of and who he has the potential to be?
Man, I've come around. He's a lot of fun to watch. I'm gonna be in Nashville, so hearing that I'm gonna see that's the only thing that's saving that Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns match for me is I was like, you know what? At least I'm gonna be there live. You know, otherwise I'd crap all over that. And then apparently rumor is that the Undertaker might be showing up because of course the Undertaker might.
Well, he's supposed to be doing like a one-man show thing or whatever, like that weekend at, I don't know if it was Starcast or not, but like either it's the night before SummerSlam, he's supposed to be doing something.
Yeah. Well, anyways, you guys, Forbidden Doors in the books. It was a good show. I was wrong on a lot of my predictions. Apparently, my conspiracy theory about Tanahashi taking that belt back to New Japan and Tony Khan repaying New Japan for stealing all their big stars from 3 years ago was wrong. The obvious happened. Jon Moxley won that belt. Are you guys happy about the interim title scene?
Yeah, I'm not upset about it, obviously. I love Jon Moxley, but I guess I will be upset if they do what they've done to the TNT title, where if CM Punk comes back, he's going to have his own AEW belt that's the exact fucking same as the one that Jon Moxley's holding. And then it's kind of obvious when Punk comes back, he's going to win the title so he can have his proper title reign. So when that happens, yeah, but when I know, that's why I guess why I'm upset about it now. But when he's going to be walking around with two of the same belt, it's so unnecessary. That belt is beautiful. You only need one, and then it doesn't help that it's the exact same belt. Like if Jon Moxley customizes his own title and like makes it his own, that would make a little more sense. But I know they're not going to do that, and that's what I'm not looking forward to. But I'm not upset that Jon Moxley won. As much as I love Hiroshi Tanahashi, you know, he's my favorite New Japan wrestler. It was kind of obvious, but it was still a really good match. And Tana could still go. Like, don't fucking sleep on Tanahashi. He is in his 40s, sure, but he could still hang, and he can keep up as well.
I was spinning the thread that Tanahashi was going to take it. Like, I had people believe in me that Tanahashi could win, but damn. Man.
I did. Honestly, I was on board with it because they had set everything up so, like, blatantly obvious that it was going to be Mox to win. Like, I felt like they were doing that to throw us a swerve. And Tanahashi's been pretty much in America most of the time, damn near full time on New Japan Strong, helping with the guys at the dojo and shit. So that's why I'm like, he's already here. It kind of makes perfect sense if they swerve us like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially
if the last few title reigns that Tanahashi has had have been complete, like, unfulfilling filler reigns. So if that's all you see in Tana right now, let him stay in the States and defend, like, the AEW championship. I wouldn't have been upset at that.
So let's start off at the beginning of all of this and go with the build to Forbidden Door. Obviously, it seems like it's a pretty fair... it's universally kind of agreed on that the build could have been, let's say, just much better. Do you feel New Japan may have been done disrespectful or dirty at all, or was it just a poor build and it is what it is?
I think a lot of this. Oh, sorry, Arian, were you gonna go first?
No, go ahead.
Okay,
I was
gonna say, I think this whole pay-per-view, the build for the whole pay-per-view is kind of underwhelming altogether. But here's the thing: I don't think it's exactly anyone's fault. I think it's just the fact that Japan is so far from the States. So when you have all these New Japan wrestlers coming to the States, you know, because it's going to be in the United States, these big names still need to go back and, be wrestlers and show up for New Japan shows, which happened multiple times out of the week. So I think it was kind of beyond their control that the build was so underwhelming. But I also wish we could have gotten more from, at least from this match alone, we could have gotten a little more from Tanahashi. Because even if when you watch the little, the promo package they have before the match, all you have is Tanahashi, in an interview, saying, talking crap, I wish we could have seen more from Tanahashi.
Yeah, I agree with Savannah. It's not it's because of how far away everything was. To me, I think where they messed up, they should have just had a California run, where even though that's not, it's closer than driving, coming all the way across the fucking country.
Or the pay-per-view should have been in LA or something.
Right, exactly. Something where it's not that far. And I think that's all it was. And like she said, New Japan is running full-time schedule, almost WWE. It's just not like they're just going once a week or like some of the indies do where they record a bunch of shows at once. They're running shows constantly. So I think they did a damn good job of getting the guys that people in the States wanted to see over here. But it was ultimately lacking. But again, it's not anybody's fault. I think it was just logistics overall. And then people getting sick, people getting injured. It was a bunch of shit that nobody really could control. So for once, I'm not gonna shit on AEW for builds. I know they're not always the best at that, but this time it really wasn't. It was kind of out of their control, as well as New Japan as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with that. You guys kind of said all of that there. I don't think we could sit here and split hairs and talk about what could have been done better, but at the end of the day, there was no ill intent. There was no burial of the New Japan talent.
No.
Yeah. Now, one of the other talks, and this is more towards AEW side of things and their pay-per-view structure. Last night, from the beginning of the buy until the closing angle of the Blood and Guts brawl that closed out the show ran for just shy, literally just minutes shy of 5 hours. This has been a hot button topic for a lot of people, that these pay-per-views may be getting too long. Is 5 hours too long to sit through one show? Should we be having it shortened, where some of these matches appear on the weekly show like Dynamite and Rampage, or maybe start doing what WrestleMania does and start booking 2-night events?
So I think 2-night events would be really cool, but I think you should have a pay-per-view specific to that. I know New Japan does, it's Wrestle Kingdom. Right. They have 2 nights only for Wrestle Kingdom. So what you would consider the biggest AEW pay-per-view, maybe have 2-nighters for that. But I don't know. I get where it's very time consuming and it's a lot for 5 hours, but I guess maybe I'm just either numb to it, or used to it, or also it's just because it's not like the WWE where you can just pay a $10 subscription on Peacock and then watch all the pay-per-views you want and then go back and watch them again. Whereas AEW, you have to pay $50 for a pay-per-view every time they have one on. I feel like you're getting your money's worth. That's $10 an hour. I know it's when you put it like that, it's a little more pricey, but you get 5 hours of wrestling as opposed. So if they made it shorter, you're paying $50 for less, and if people are saying that it should be as long as the Dynamite shows, then it's almost like you're paying to watch Dynamite.
My thing is do them on Saturdays. If you're gonna make me do a marathon, don't do it on a fucking day where I gotta go to work the next day. That's my thing.
That's also true.
Or do it early in the day. If this started at 3 or 4 and went to 7 or 8 or even 9, that's more palatable to swallow than starting at fucking 6 or 7 and going to midnight or later. You know what I'm saying? Saturday pay-per-views, I'm always going to be for a Saturday pay-per-view because, even if I only catch a couple hours of it, I know I don't have shit to do tomorrow. So, I'll stay up till midnight, 1 o'clock or later to finish out a fucking show. You know what I'm saying? It's just the Sunday long, drawn-out marathon pay-per-views, that shit's played out. Even WWE finally got the memo on that and cut the fucking times on their pay-per-views. Because even their normal ones are 2.5 hours, maybe 3, depending on what it is, and then they split WrestleMania up so it wasn't a goddamn 8-hour shift and shit like it used to be. So it's if WWE finally came around to it, why the hell is AEW going back to the old way? You know what I'm saying? But again, this is just AEW always overthinking everything and just do what you've been doing. You don't have to fucking turn up. It's not that big of a deal.
All right. And then the last thought, oh, by the way, is my 2 cents. Selfishly, I love it on Sundays at 7 because I work till 9 p.m. on Saturdays every week, and I get out at 6 on Sundays. So for Kyle, it's perfect. It's perfectly set up, and I always have Mondays off. So for me individually, it works out great. Last question is this. This is kind of like in a more broad state, and this is going to be one of the more hot button items, is that this pay-per-view was plagued by injuries. Both AEW side and New Japan side. It was early on in AEW's and existence, and a constant topic that's brought up, especially when referring to wrestlers, let's say like Darby Allin, that this really strong style and high risk style that most of the AEW roster carries has the potential to cause a lot of injuries. And here we are in the year of 2022, the summer of 2022. Now, granted, it's not exclusive to AEW. WWE is chock full of injuries right now too, of their own.
Every year for the summer.
Yeah. But do you all believe this is AEW's like quote unquote like reckless wrestling style that they have? Is this a result of that, or is this a complete coincidence, or just bad luck?
I feel like if it was a recklessness thing, I feel like it would have, this 2020 summer of 2022 would have been a pattern. Like, we've seen this last year and we saw this year before. We saw this in 2019 when they started. I feel like if it could be considered a coincidence of like, since we haven't really seen this much like injury for big stars in like such a short amount of time. But also I kind of heard that apparently, I take this with a grain of salt. I don't really have exact resources or sources where I got this from, but apparently AEW is a little more lenient about letting their wrestlers go like compete through injury. And I think to an extent that it's all right, but I feel like if it's going to be something like your knee or like something your shoulder that's going to really, screw you up in the future and really put you out of action for a long time, I think just rest while you still can before it gets even worse.
I think it's a little bit of all three. I think it's not their recklessness, but like she said, them giving their wrestlers a little bit more leeway on what to do, what they do, and how they do it. But I mean, like, it's just a little bit of everything. Like, and like you said, the injury bug has caught everybody, so you can't even necessarily say it's just AEW. I mean, because look where we're at with WWE as well, and it just kind of happens like that. And a lot of it is too, like, not necessarily I don't think it's a reckless style. I think that they just do a little bit more and don't have the constrictions time-wise and just what they can do in general, like WWE has. And like I said, WWE people are still injured too. So I think it's a combination of everything. And to be honest, shit just happens. I mean, it kind of is what it is. Like, I'm not going to give anybody shit for that. It's a collaboration pay-per-view that everybody and their fucking mother wants to kill themselves for if they have to get over and to make it what it is and what it should be. So, like, I'm not going to give anybody shit for going a little bit extra and maybe doing some dumb shit they wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, I mean, and also, they're all grown adults. You know what I mean? Right. Granted, like, the individuals, yeah, it's up to them to decide, and if the business clears it and they understand the risks, then I see no issues there. All right, so that concludes, like, this little interview portion I had planned out for y'all. Let's talk about this pay-per-view, okay? And we can start breaking down some of these matches. First thing to note is AEW got some New Japan gold. FTR won that winner's take all. This is one of the matches that I was dead wrong on. I did not see them getting those belts.
All of us were.
Yeah, me neither.
All of us were wrong.
Yeah. How do you feel about FTR holding those belts specifically? So not necessarily the match, but those belts. And then B, do you feel a certain type of way that New Japan didn't get their hands on any of AEW's gold?
I think it's kind of like, I'm not upset that it's FTR. I have nothing against them. But I think, honestly, just my personal opinion, I thought it would have been probably best to put the belt on Roppongi Vice, only because they both compete. You have Rocky Romero, who's full-time New Japan, and then you have Trent, who I know it's for the Ring of Honor titles, but since it's owned by Tony, pretty much AEW, So I feel like with the combination of them two, Trent could go, to Japan with Rocky, and then Rocky can come back to the States and compete, for the Ring of Honor titles. I think it was a bit more of a mix. But again, I guess as long as FTR goes to Japan and defend those titles, then I guess I'll be all right with it.
I mean, anybody knows I'm not really I'm a fan of FTR, but I'm not like swinging from their nuts like everyone else is.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. I don't know. I don't see the hype.
I'm a huge fan of Dax. Like, I have become a big fan of Dax.
I'm not saying they're not good. I'm just saying I don't see like the hype. I don't either. See, like they're the best or this. I'm like, I don't see it. I really don't.
It's kind of same with Roppongi Vice. They're not who they were. Like if this was 3 or 4 years ago, maybe I would have been down with it. But like my thing is like I am hyped to see what they do against the tag teams in New Japan. And the reason why I don't think anybody else, any other AEW, any New Japan stars got any AEW, because they got this huge tournament fucking coming in like 2 weeks. So like when the hell is anybody going to defend it or have time to come over here to defend it on TV or anything like that? Like as much as people want to kind of like shit on it and make it seem like they kind of like shit on New Japan, like New Japan has a lot, their summers are fucking packed. It's not like a downtime for them like it is for the promotions here in the state. They have tournaments out the fucking ass through the summer. So it's like, it's hard. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, especially since the G1's back in the summers, it's July now.
Like that's what I'm saying. It's like, how the fuck are they gonna have time to do the G1 blocks and fly over here and defend the title and everything? So like, I kind of knew that going in that I didn't think it was gonna be. I thought it would be more, if not at all, I thought it would at least be more AEW people that got New Japan titles or whatever if that ever happened. Because, like I said, the summer's kind of like a downtime in the States. It's not really a big thing like it is in Japan. So like I feel like it's easier for FTR to go there than to have United Empire or anybody come here. So
yeah. Well, again, and as long as they actually go to Japan and defend them and they don't just carry them around like props, I'll be okay with it. Because the tag titles, it's like one of the most. Like it's always these titles are always defended, even like in their sometimes in their weekly shows. These titles are always being defended. So I hope that doesn't come to a screeching halt now that they're in the States.
Right.
Couple notes. I do think it's actually kind of funny that FTR holds both now the New Japan tag titles along with AAA's, considering the working relationship between the two. They're not allowed to work together. So I think that's funny that FTR is holding both those company belts. But the bigger question here, I think, for the tag titles is at this point, are they going to be the belt collector? I mean, they already got 3 major promotions belts, the Ring of Honor, AAA and NJPWs. This obviously is leading towards the rubber match with the Young Bucks. Are we going to see them hold all 4 sets of belts, or are we going to see them lose some of those belts before we get to that obvious rubber match that's coming up?
I think they're going to keep them all.
I know that's what a lot of people want, which again, more power to them. But as long as these titles are defended, I mean, especially the New Japan ones, that's my big one. Like the AAA ones, I know like it's kind of hard, especially again because of New Japan and AAA, and like the wrestlers are not allowed to work together. So, or like they're not allowed to like coincide, which I think is really weird. But
yeah, that's why I believe that's the reason why we didn't get Andrade in that Fatal 4-Way match, was because of the whole the issues between AAA and New Japan not being able to work together.
This is like aside from the fact that like I'm a Bucks fan, okay, as you can clearly see. But I think another reason why I would want the Bucks to win, other than the fact that I'm a mark for the Bucks, is because again, kind of back to what we were talking about with the AEW interim championship. Like FTR seems like the obvious win. Like they're the belt collectors. Let them get all the belts. So I feel like they're the obvious ones to win when they eventually, because we all know it's coming again, to face the Bucks. Let the Bucks retain. Let that be a shocker. They're heels. I'm pretty sure they'll come up with something to make it look less shady, and then maybe at some point down the line they can win the.
I just don't get this FTR suckfest. I'm sorry. Like
I don't either. I really don't know.
I'm not. And like I said, yes, they're a good tag team. They really are. But like,
yes.
I think they're boring as fuck. I think the only really exciting thing about them is their finishing move. Like their matches are not like, and I'm not into the flippy shit either. So I don't want anybody to think I'm saying that, but I just don't. And they're fucking tiny as hell. Like I mean, you saw that in that match. I don't get it. Like I've never got it. Like, and all this is because the fans are shitting on AEW so much about them not being on TV and them not getting any shine. So now AEW is just literally just giving them the Roman Reigns treatment and shit, shoving them down our throat. But have fun, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I'm in the odd company where I adore both FTR and the Young Bucks. Like I like both of that shit.
Obviously, I adore the Young Bucks, and again, I have nothing personal against FTR. More power to them if they win the titles. But again, I've even before they started getting the belts, even like when they first came to AEW, even in WWE, I was just like, I never saw the hype in these guys. I don't know where it comes from, but again, if you're a fan, good for you.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not saying they're shit either. Like, I'm quick to tell somebody their ass.
Yeah,
like, I don't
exactly.
give a shit. I will, but I'm not saying their ass off. Like, I see the appeal, but they're just not my cup of tea.
I say if they still have all 3 sets of those titles when they do face the Bucks, winner takes all. Bucks either get the 3 new sets of belts, or FTR completes the collection.
That would be really good. That would be really good.
Completes that infinity gauntlet of tag titles.
And then better yet, if the Bucks do happen to, like, if they do the winner takes all and then the Bucks win, like, bring back the super kick titles just to rub it in their face. Like, look, now we really got more. Now we really got more belts than you.
Will Gray, of course, is the first person in the live chat says FTR is the best. Yeah, but guys, once again, you guys, if you ever want to watch or listen to the show live, twitch.tv/SmackedRaw, join in, man. Join in with the live viewers. Okay, let's go back. Let's head back to the pre-show. All right, if any of these stand out to you, I'm just going to read off these matches, and if you have a talking point, bring it up, because a lot of these are kind of like, I'm overlooking them because I am, out of the 3 here, I believe I'm the least familiar with New Japan's talent. Like, I watched New Japan for Wrestle Kingdom like 3 years in a row, and so if you weren't in that Wrestle Kingdom, I've probably never heard of you. So we got Goto and Yoshihashi. They took on QT Marshall and Aaron Solo. Anything on this one?
Good match.
Fuck QT.
Well, I was gonna say it was a good match, and I'm glad that the Factory didn't get a win over them, because both especially Roki Goto, he's freaking talented as hell. So
they just had the titles until recently too, didn't they? The tag titles, didn't they?
Yes, and so I was like, you can't do. And again, kind of back to, I know people talk about like how when AEW collabs with others, they kind of like like AEW's always winning and stuff. Like they always do this. I kind of see it. Don't get me wrong. So I thought this was going to be another example where AEW just dominates over New Japan.
I would have cut this shit off if QT and Marshall never had beat them.
Especially because it was QT Marshall and what's his other guy's name?
Jobber.
Yeah,
Aaron Jobber.
Yeah, Aaron Solo, right? Solo. I don't know his name, but regardless, is that like, again, just like, especially to talent like that, no offense to them, but. And
why the fuck did QT turn into a cruiserweight luchador?
He busts that out every now and then. He always does
that. Shit was stupid as fuck.
He's always had like now granted, it's impressive when you look at him, but he's always had that weird like handspring leaping over the ropes move, and then him doing a 450. Yeah, like I think it's like he busted out just be like, oh, that's what an average looking guy. I'm sure QT Marshall's in way better shape than any of us, but average looking guy looks like throwing luchador moves, man.
Well,
that's that fucking nepotism. Like, I can do whatever I want.
Yo, is there? I gotta ask y'all really quick. Is there anybody that we should be paying attention to coming out of the Nightmare Factory?
Nick Camarado,
like Captain Satan.
I like
from
him
Dragon Ball
he's
Z.
The only actual fucking giant dude. Like, because he was even bigger than Lance Archer for real. Like, and he was way bigger than fucking what's his name, Wardlow. Like that match to me was like, holy shit! Like you finally have an actually legit big man, and you're feeding him to your pretend big man. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I mean, if anybody,
I love that you still say like Wardlow is a pretend big man. Like,
he is. Like, they literally make him out to be like he's like 6'5", like 260, bro. That motherfucker.
Does he have that perception that like Big E has? Because you say like Big E's like 5'10", right?
No, he doesn't have that perception, because Big E looks like, even though he's 5'10", he still looks like he's 300 pounds. Wardlow looks like he's 220, fucking 6'2".
No, man. Wardlow looks bigger than me, and I'm walking around at 280.
Go watch that match versus him versus Nick Camarado, and you can see that what an actual big man looks like, and what somebody
I can see what a
wrestling
big
a bunch
man.
of. Well, when you're wrestling a bunch of 5'7" dudes and you're 6'2", you're gonna look like you're 7 foot. So I'll die on that hill. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Savannah. You got something ready.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I'm just glad Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi went over because they fucking deserve it. They're talented as hell. And again, just because it was in the kickoff doesn't mean you need to like totally let AEW dominate over New Japan. You know, they got
first win of the night. First win of the night went to New Japan.
And I think that's where some people fail to realize it's unrecognized talent. Because just because you know the person doesn't mean they're any better than anyone else. Just because they know the name.
And Gato, like, y'all need to go back and look him up. Like, because a lot of people now use a lot of moves that he came up with and created.
Exactly.
Like, he's fucking legit.
The next match of the evening reminded me of when WWE was doing the Invasion. So this is like when you were a baby. Savannah, but but it was like the commentary had to tell us who represented WWF and who represented WCW because they were all like WWF guys, and that was Lance Archer and Nick Camarado. Lance Archer is an AEW guy, but apparently was representing New Japan last night because I think he's going to be in the G1, right? Did I hear that correctly?
He is the only AEW star in the G1, which I was like, dude, there's 4 blocks, 28 men. Like, you couldn't have at least had like one block with AEW wrestlers. I mean, I guess
the reason why I wasn't mad at that though is because he's like the only one that actually is a New Japan guy.
That's true. That is true. He's the only one consistent. Yeah, he's the only one consistently there, and I guess that's why I didn't complain too much about it. Like, because like I was like, why no more? Like, why just Lance Archer and not anyone else? But also at the same time, again, you have to be consistently in New Japan during the G1, and I don't think a lot of people are willing to do that.
Go ahead and book, since you said it has so many blocks, book 2 other people from AEW that you would like to see in the G1. Who would you want to send over there for the G1?
Okay, well now my mind's blanking because I'm
Put
like
you on the spot.
Because I'm thinking of like talent that doesn't really get used when they probably should be. So maybe might as well just send them over there to
I already know who I want to see.
Oh, go ahead. You can go ahead and start.
I want to see Phoenix or Keith Lee.
Keith Lee, yes.
Really good choices. Like,
Keith Lee be a fucking kaiju. All right.
Literally.
Yeah. I'm still blank. Well, I would honestly. I know they're still doing a lot of stuff with House of Black, but I would like to see Malachi.
Yeah.
And then I know he's injured, but
oh no, Malachi did not win. That was Pac that won.
No, but Pac also, but he wasn't my second pick. Danielson, do a tour in New Japan, okay? Like stay there for like
the obvious one, right? If he was healthy.
Danielson. Yeah, if obviously
that's why I pick him. I think that's like the obvious pick for everybody, including myself. That's why I picked two randos.
Yeah, well, and then we can if it happened, we could actually see Zack Sabre Jr. and Bryan Danielson.
That's what I was about to say. If we don't get him versus Zack Sabre Jr. this year, like fuck New Japan and AEW. Even if it's just like a random match, like remember when WWE did that like random Japan show? Yeah, like out of nowhere. Like even if it's something just like that, like I'll pay $20 to see like a 3-match card. Fuck it.
What about the newly signed Claudio Cesaro?
He would be a good pick too. I could see it.
Yeah, we're also going to see how big he is too, because when it looks like he's wrestling his nephews on AEW.
Yeah, not everybody.
No, I'm just like yesterday he looked freaking stacked. Maybe I was like, is it just because we haven't seen him in a while, or is it because
I promise you that man worked out harder. Like he had, he looked like he's been because he's been gone since February. Right. So
I was like, am I just not used to seeing him, or
the
is
worst
he
kept secret in wrestling?
Yeah.
No, I think less people saw him coming than CM Punk.
I think
CM Punk was the worst kept secret, just because.
Yeah.
Really, and Daniel Bryan, really both. I forgot about both.
Punk and Bryan was like the best kept secret, like just like LeBron going to the Lakers. Like it was like no secret at all. It was like everyone. You didn't even have to watch to know that.
Yeah, just legally we're not allowed to say it's gonna happen.
Right.
But you all know.
Exactly.
All right. And what was it? God, what's Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland's
Swerve
in Our Glory, right?
In Our Glory.
Yeah, then
fire.
They took on El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru.
I'll fuck his name up too.
I was gonna say Yoshinobu Kanemaru.
Thank you. Just please, next time you hear me stutter, just take over for me, okay? Good tag.
This is another dope tag team too. Honestly, like they just recently lost what is it, the light heavyweight titles too. So it's like these aren't just like random tag teams. Like these are their top guys they sent over.
This was a good match to me. I found myself, this was one of the only matches I found myself thinking more about the actual angle than the match, which is odd because there's not a huge one, but now whenever I see Swerve and Keith Lee, I'm like, how much longer? You know, AEW has shown it does have patience. You know, they do have patience as far as like pulling the trigger on stuff, but we've already got the first hint of when Swerve eliminated Keith Lee from the Casino Battle Royal. And I found myself just like my mind wandering to that.
I know, and I hate that they did that because it was a fucking battle royal, every man for himself. Like, even if it got down to the last two of them, one of them would have had to.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing. And that's just a professional wrestling trope with battle royals. Like, tag teams turn on each other way too early. Like, it never makes sense. I'm right.
I think they deserve a real run. Like, let them, like you said, AEW, they always let things play out for like at least a year or so, sometimes longer. So, like, if they can string out fucking Hangman winning the title for 2 years, leave them together. Like, they're a dope tag team. They got immense fucking chemistry. Like, they just feel like they belong together. They play off of each other well, with Keith Lee being the straight man and shit and everything. Like, it just, their styles complement each other too. And we ain't got too many black people that's out there doing it like that. You know what I'm saying? That we can actually rest our hat on. So it's like, let it happen. Just let it happen organically, and like, let them win the titles. Let the titles be the reason why they split. But like, leave them together as long as possible. Like, I'm here for it.
At least while you have no plans for Keith Lee or Swerve in this matter, but
exactly.
While you've got
they don't.
singles
Too
plans.
crowded.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they are a team, because they had no plans for either of them. They were like, "Oh shit, what do we do? Just throw them together. We'll make them a team." Which I'm not upset.
I was about to say, if there was any team that worked with, like their team, it worked. Thankfully.
Yeah.
Afterwards, we had a tease from Team Taz. They're still a team, right? They're still technically.
How is this team? This is the longest feud in fucking the history of AEW. This feud's been going on for 17 years, bro.
Dude, someone, at least at some point, somebody take that FTW title and just throw that. Like, you could mix up the tag matches. You could do like 2 tag matches and then boom, bust out a singles match for that FTW title and just have it go around there. And that's how you can lengthen this out. But you're right, dude. I'm not tired of it though, for some reason, Aaron. Like, I'm not tired of seeing Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks like mix it up,
because a lot of it is they put it on Rampage, so like most people aren't watching it, and not like that, you know what I'm saying? So it's not getting played out because they keep it on Rampage for the most part.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You know, that might be it. Like, why it doesn't feel overplayed, because I've missed a couple episodes anyways.
I don't watch Rampage. It's just a lot to ask on a Friday night. Like, I'm like, look. And then sometimes it's just like, I'm not into it. I'm just like, okay, like, unless one of my favorites are going to show up or going to be on, I'll watch. But other than that, I'm just like, okay.
I try to always have it tossed on the TV. Like, chances are I might not even be looking at it. It might just be like background noise.
Yeah.
I check the match card. If it's like she said, if it's somebody I want to see, I go back and watch.
I'll make sure to watch. But other than that, I'm just like, it's happening.
The last prelim of the night, which was more of a comedy angle than anything, saw the Acclaimed and the Ass Boys, mainly just Max Caster and Billy Gunn, taking on some young lions. Alex Coughlin, the DKC, Uemura, I get that right? And Kevin Knight?
Yeah.
Just young lions, right? They all had the black tights and everything. I think I got that.
Yes, the young lions.
One of them just graduated. That's why his tights were gold. A little bit different.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, usually the thing with the young lions is that you're not allowed to really make your character until after you graduate from the dojo. So that's why they're all in the black tights and the black boots. It's kind of a requirement.
Dude, how the fuck does Billy Gunn be in his 50s and look the way he does? Like,
sheesh.
Miracle.
Huh?
You got to work. I said sometimes it's miracles, or sometimes you just work and it works for people. Like, I think you can there's a lot.
And are we ever gonna fucking just recognize how much of a performer Max Caster is?
Yeah,
he's fucking huge for one. You know what I'm saying? He's not like most of the people in AEW. The raps and this shit with the Ass Boys. Like, I'm so fucking in on this. Like, it's so fucking stupid and just like
it's the most relevant they've been this whole time.
Right, but it just like for some reason it just fucking makes sense. Like even them saying the wrong city and shit and everything like that. Like they just go together, and then they got their old ass dad with them too. Like just throws like a weird fucking like wrench in it as well. So it's just like has no reason to get over or to make any fucking sense. But I'm here for it.
Dude, I'm right there with you with Max Caster, but it's just as big as Anthony Bowens. I can't tell you how much hype I have for when this guy heals up. He seems to be like it feels weird because, you know, obviously in a tag team you can not necessarily as dramatic as like one's the Michaels and one's the Jannetty. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be that dramatic, but I feel like with Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, at any point they both could split and be equally as successful, like single stars. Like they feel like they can both like have like a no glass ceiling for either of them.
I don't think it's so much Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. I think it's more Triple H and Shawn Michaels with those two. Like, you know, they can both be on their own. They can both be on their own as single stars, but then together they're just as good. Yeah,
beautiful analogy. Thank you. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Like, I feel like that, man. And another thing about Anthony Bowens too is it's not too often that you get like anybody who's like openly gay. And their sexuality plays little to almost no part of their wrestling character. The man's character is completely original, and they've withheld that.
I didn't even know he was openly gay.
Yeah, me either. Until like, of course, started posting about it, which, you know, good for him. Nothing against them, nothing against LGBTQ. But again, I would have never guessed personally.
Yeah, no, I remember. I think he came out like shortly after he was signed with AEW. I think he came out on Twitter or something. Is what it was. But no, it feels refreshing. Not like in a way like I don't want to see somebody be gay, but like you see like they accentuate it too much, man. I think the worst was I can't remember his name. I forget. God damn. He went over to TNA and he was openly bisexual, and they just went so hard on it, and I couldn't remember.
Atlas.
Huh?
Atlas.
No, this was back like Ruthless Aggression era, man. It was a while
ago. I thought you meant like recently.
No. This was a while back. It was done really poorly. But yeah, a lot of wrestling companies, man, they can handle that shit like very tastelessly.
Yeah, he is. He came out in December 2019. I didn't know that either at all.
Oh shit.
I told y'all.
Yeah.
I'm on social media way too much, is what it is. Fuck, dude. Okay. Official pay-per-view kickoff. Sex Wizards taking on Eddie Kingston, Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. Shota, right? Shoto.
Or Shooter, as Mox dubbed him.
Shooter. SHOT. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I give up, man. Fucking give up. Anyways, bro, this match, sum it up. Eddie Kingston, Minoru Suzuki, the Chop Fest, middle of the ring. God damn, I was sold off just that alone, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, you said it. This match did what it was supposed to do. I mean, the fucking Suzuki, man, he's just that shit's crazy. Between him and Sting, like I don't know who's the oldest fucking grandpa that's still fucking putting on a show. Like it was like I love this match. Like it was just because it made no sense, any of the teams really, and anything that was fucking going on. But it also had stipulations for a whole ass another match. Like it just
that a third of each team. Yeah, it was like a stipulation for a match that a third of each team was not going to be a part of.
Right.
But I mean, at least I guess it gave it some purpose, if you will. Like there was a reason. It was still a really good match. It exceeded my expectations by a lot. I was like, we're really starting with this match. You know, you really want your opener to be something really good to like, again, just to show what you're in for. And no, it actually was really good. Again, Suzuki and Kingston, I would love to see them one-on-one. There was something. Oh, and I think Shooter, I don't know why Suzuki, but Shooter, I think, makes a little more sense to go up against Jericho than Suzuki being against like Kingston and Wheeler Yuta.
Well, Jericho took out his dad. He beat up Red Shoes.
Exactly.
Man. Long-term booking, man. I love it.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say that they have some history, so there's that little connection there. But Shooter, I'm going to give Shooter his flowers. I thought he was going to have Jericho pinned to the mat a few times. I'm like, wow, they're going to have, you know, as people call him, Mox's son, Shooter. You know, Mox's little boy, you know, he's all grown up now, and he's going to pin Le Champion, the Demo God, the Wizard, wrestling veteran Chris Jericho to the mat and have him and pin him clean. I thought we were going to see that like on many different occasions. So I'm giving Shooter his flowers. I want to see more of him in AEW. I would love to see more of him in general.
Well, at one point he had a Jericho, in the walls of Jericho, and he ate a super kick from Sammy, and he just ate it and fired up.
Two of them.
Yeah,
ate two of them.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it was his downfall. He kept getting hit by them and kept firing up, like he kept hulking up essentially, until Jericho like knocked him out with a Judas effect. But yeah, it made him look tough as hell, and a great exposure for, once again, like people like me that I didn't get to see his run with Moxley. I saw all the funny clips like online and stuff of him and Moxley together, but never saw the matches. And just on last night's match alone, I was sold. Like, you tell me he's in another match, I'm definitely going to tune in and pay attention now.
Yeah, no, he's Mox's protege. His son.
His son, Mox's boy.
Yeah.
No, I remember watching like one like press conference or backstage interview from New Japan, and Moxley essentially was like Weekend at Bernie's him. Like, he was like knocked out, and Moxley was essentially just holding his lifeless body up while he was cutting the interview. Oh, it was hilarious, man. We already talked about the tag titles. Great match. I like that. By the way, I really like what you said, Savannah. I didn't even think about Roppongi Vice being a good choice to actually win it, seeing as each member represents the company. You know what I mean? I thought that was pretty. Yeah, one's in AEW, one's in New Japan.
That's why they were my pick. Not because, like, again, I guess FTR was like the obvious choice because belt collectors and stuff.
FTR, yeah.
But so I just thought, maybe Roppongi Vice, because they could do both. I think both of them could, go to Japan and back to the States. I think they could be perfect like company hoppers.
Oh man. So, with that being said, the biggest surprise of the night. Okay, did anybody see Pac winning this fatal 4-way match? Did anybody have their money on Pac?
No. My money was on Malachi, so no.
So was mine. That's who I picked too.
Really?
I picked Malachi.
Man, I was with everybody else. I thought I was calling it the Miro belt. I was like, dude, y'all made this belt literally just to put it on Miro.
I thought the reason why it wasn't going to be Miro is because he's already had his moment with the title. He's already had his title run and stuff, his feud with the title. So I thought, give it to someone new. It's a new belt. Let like someone else make history. Let someone else have this moment. Which, I mean, I guess it works both for Pac and Malachi. But again, I just thought it was going to be Malachi.
Yeah. Now, it was unfortunate that we had Tomohiro Ishii out with a knee injury. He was replaced by Clark Connors, right? Yeah. Who is Clark Connors, by the way? I'm sorry, like, for real.
I've seen briefly of him.
Okay.
But I cannot, like, give you a good description of, like, all this.
So even you, a veteran fan of New
maybe
Japan.
Marie knows. I think Marie knows would probably
I think he's on, like, Strong a lot. And, like, I know he graduated from the dojo, but...
Yeah, that's about it. Like,
yeah, that's about all I know.
The brief information. And I think that's... if he is on Strong, then that makes a lot of sense because I don't watch Strong. So
right, I watch it very.
I do not know who the hell's on there.
All I could think every time I heard his name, I was like, that is such a WWE sounding name. Like as far as his name goes, is I don't know. He was fun out there. He's actually ultimately like one of the reasons why Miro didn't win. He's the one who hit the spear on Miro through the table. Which Miro did come back from, but that took him out for a good portion of the final bits of the match.
He
made the most of his opportunity for sure.
Yeah, for absolutely. And I was gonna say, it makes me wonder that if Ishii wasn't injured, like if this would have played out differently, like we know
Ishii wasn't gonna be tapping out to the Brutalizer. There's no way that was the plan.
Like Ishii, I feel like because you know how Miro when he puts it on and then he leans all the way back. I think Ishii probably would have found a way to get out of that because he's the Stone Pitbull.
He's got fucking Ishii. No neck, man. Like you can't get a grip on that man.
and he's a brutalizer. So I'm like, dude, I don't know. First of all, I would have loved to have seen Ishii and Miro 1-on-1, but that's just me.
Yeah, that was like the big point of this match. Well, not the big point. The Fatal 4-Way, the chemistry was awesome.
I also thought he would have been the equalizer against Miro because it's two big guys, you know. So it would have been like, you know, you got two of like the big guys, the brutalizers, and then you got like Pac and Malachi, you know.
Right.
Exactly, but
No,
I don't know. I hope Ishii's out. Ishii comes back soon.
So here's the where the honeymoon ends though is this belt does feel like the most unnecessary belt AEW has established. It in my opinion, and I think a couple people share that opinion. What's next? How does this belt separate itself from, say, the TNT title?
I think they got to travel with this one. If you're going to call it the fucking Mid-Atlantic and then randomly put Japan on there and Japan's in another ocean, they should at least let this champ,
Right.
let them travel places and fucking defend it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's the only thing. Like, I don't understand how you can make it any different. Because I get what they're doing because it's kind of like WCW. WCW had this. They had the TV title, the US title. They even had the fucking hardcore title eventually too. So like, it kind of is what it is. But like, yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. Or maybe if they came up with like a different set of rules, like the Pure Championship for Ring of Honor. You know what I'm saying?
I would be very much into that if they could establish anything to separate this.
Right.
But it's hard when they already have like Ring of Honor,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, but I agree with Ryan. I think they should travel with it. I didn't even think about how like they have Japan involved, but Japan's the Pacific. I was like, I didn't even think of that. It's different fucking ocean.
That was the first thing I saw. Like, what the fuck, Japan?
With that being said, honestly, here's what I see. I know he's got his own other things going on right now. Give that belt to someone like Ospreay, who actually goes around the fucking world. He goes to the UK, he goes to Japan, he's in the States. Ospreay could be like the defender of that title, like everywhere. He could go to, Australia. He can go to like other places in Europe, like take like the UK, or I already said UK, but he can go to other places throughout the world with that title. Because Ospreay, I feel like, has been the only, like as of late, being the only one who's been, country hopping in his career.
Right.
Yeah, man. I just want to see it. Just want to see it like be different. Like, I don't know. But then again, like, I feel like the obvious argument is, well, there's a US title and Intercontinental title, but my argument to that would be they're on different shows, which technically aren't supposed to cross over brands. And then also on top of that one of them is always obviously the one that they just don't care about. And recently that's been the IC title in WWE. I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. Pac is fucking awesome. I know everybody's happy to see him win.
For sure.
I hope that he does some cool shit. And then along with Miro, now that Miro's back, I hope Miro just, I don't want to say go back to the Bulgarian Brute version, but I want to start seeing this man bulldoze people. Miro just feels like a guy that should not be in like heavily competitive matches unless he is facing like the elite of the elite. No pun intended. But yeah.
But also,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, it was about I know a lot of people were thinking that Kip Sabian was gonna cost Miro because they have the history. I thought maybe, but again, I don't know what they would have done afterwards. Like, because
what the hell are they doing with Kip anyways? I see him out in the crowd every now and then with the bag on his head, but that's all they got. That is what they're doing with them. Nothing. That is the weirdest thing, that the only acknowledgement that is him is like through social media.
And again, I think it probably would have made sense, at least for Kip, to like bring him back, because what are they doing with him right now? Nothing. So at least throw him in. I don't think so. I don't know. But
you're the AEW guy, motherfucker.
Literally just a day ago, he's posting some selfies in the mirror. Doesn't look injured, but then again, you don't have to be in a cast to necessarily be injured. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of injuries going for this.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, man, dude. The Darby Allin, Sting, Shingo Takagi, the dudes with attitudes taking on the Young Bucks and El Phantasmo. So I was wrong before this match even started, because on the preview show that we did, I said that God damn, what's his name? What the Dominic Mysterio of New Japan? Fucking
I always forget his name too.
What?
Hikuleo. There we go.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah, I said Hikuleo was actually going to score the pin. Like, he would be winning it for his team. I ended up being wrong because
they announced it even. Hiromu Takahashi had a fever, which is a COVID symptom, which I think it's both U.S. and Japanese regulations, but I know for sure in Japan, if you have any symptoms, you're not allowed to leave the country. Which I mean, I guess fair enough, it's safe, but that's why he wasn't able to show up. Yeah. But
I wouldn't want to hear that wrestlers are wrestling with fucking. Even like outside of like the COVID scare that I'm like, I'm not really scared of it. I wouldn't want to hear that they're out there wrestling with a fucking fever though. Anyways, regardless.
Well, I mean, Nick Jackson's wrestled with the flu before, but but
Michael Jordan played with the flu, but still.
Yeah, but I get you. And
hangover.
So I saw they announced it the day before, I believe. I think it was Saturday. They had said that Hikuleo is no longer going to compete in the match. Which personally I'm kind of glad, because I thought if they were going to take anyone out, I'm glad it was him. Nothing against Hikuleo, but I love El Phantasmo. He's absolutely incredible, and I think he had some good chemistry with the Bucks, so I'm glad they kept him in and didn't just take him off to the side.
I was just happy people got to see Shingo. That's why I've been talking shit about Shingo and like telling these dudes about him for months. Yeah, former champ. He
was before Okada. He was And he brought back relevancy to the king of pro wrestling conventional trophy championship, whatever you want to call it. They call it championship, but it's a trophy. But he brought relevance.
But I fuck with it.
Yeah, but he brought the value back to that trophy, and I'm so glad. So I really wanted to see him. I wish we would have gotten more from LIJ, but we didn't. Obviously, Hiromu had a fever, but I'm talking about like Naito also and Sonata, who just had a banger of a match with Ospreay.
Right.
It's a minion. So I'm glad we saw some representation from LIJ in the form of Shingo. Except I'm just not into like the dudes with attitudes. I'm like, I don't think Shingo has an attitude. Okay, he
kind of does, but not like their attitude. And that shit's so corny, like for what they are. Like it doesn't even like fit their team at all.
I remember when Sting called himself a hooligan when they did that, like that fucking match, like their cinematic match in that factory, like one of the previews. Yeah. He called himself a hooligan. Said we're hooligans. I was like, Sting. Yeah, I was like, Sting, I think you're really cool outside the ring, but stop with the branding. Like, stop attempting to brand. How about that? Like, stop talking.
And I'm happy Shingo brought back the last Falcon from his Dragon Gate days and Blood Generation and all that shit. That's how I know him. That's how I got hip to him. So that shit was fucking dope seeing that.
Well, yeah, and again, why would you name the team if it's just a one-time thing? Like, why you don't need the tag team name? You have tag teams that don't have names, and they're more consistently competing together as a team. Like,
I don't mind them giving themselves a name. It's just like dudes with attitude sounds like old school Sting, colorful Sting.
Dude, if you ask me like, hey, listen, man, there's a team in AEW called Dudes with Attitudes, I wouldn't think that anybody in that team is under 40. You know,
right?
Like, like I'm sorry, I just wouldn't, man.
Also, I was gonna say I just shout out to Kevin Kelly because he said this during the match that he called them instead of Ingobernables, he called them Stingobernables de Japón, which shout out to that. I like that name so much better.
That was I'm digging it.
I fucks with that name more.
Did I miss something? Were they teasing that Sting was in the rafters?
Yeah, they did.
They did tease it.
They pulled back on that shit and was like, what is that? And then it went off again. He was on top of the fucking entrance.
Yeah, and he was on the ramp.
He cut off the Bucks entrance. Disrespectful.
Yeah. Oh, it was beautiful, though.
We did call that, though. We did call that Sting was jumping off fucking something.
Dude, yeah, no.
We just didn't know it start the match.
We didn't know that's what was kicking it off, man. Oh, my gosh, dude. It was so fun. This was like the car crash match. Sting firing up after eating a double super kick. No selling it.
Shout out to the Bullet Club Bucks here being back for one day. It was really cool to see. On being
that
the elite,
fucking super kick though to Sting, bro, like it took his dentures out for sure.
Yeah, but on being the elite, it shows Matt going through all the gear that they've ever worn, and it was like a trip down memory lane. Like you just remember the matches, you remember the moments.
Right.
It was crazy to see, like again, just the different gear, and then
they're still the biggest heels in the business wearing $350 pair of Jordans to the ring to wrestle in.
Oh, let them freeze, yeah.
Dude, that's got to piss off so many sneakerheads.
I was gonna say they pissed off sneakerheads that don't even watch wrestling. Because I guess word got out that, there's wrestlers wrestling in their Jordans. And, of course, people were livid. Non-wrestling fans, that's some real good heel shit. If you ask me.
They wore a pair of Christian Dior Jordans in that match they had with Phoenix and his brother. I can't fucking Penta. Yeah, those were like $1,500 pair of Jordans, and they were stepping on thumbtacks and shit and blood everywhere. Those were literally 15. Those
and that was his second pair of Dior's, because his original pair got worn once for being stolen. The elite and then got stolen.
Right.
Poor Matt.
Bro, their shoes alone probably cost more than everybody's fucking gear in that match combined.
Probably gear in the building. They're
right, literally.
Their shoes to like maybe individually the match, but then combined like everyone else's gear. But
oh man, so Savannah, I'm assuming that you'd be the better one to ask, and maybe RN. They did seem to have a little bit lean more into their heelish ways since it was reuniting with the Bullet Club. Could you tell a personality change in them in this match compared to like what we've had with the Bucks as of late?
Small, kind of like, and what I mean by that is like, for example, I think they did a lot more taunting than they do. Like apparently, one of my friends who was there, she said that Nick was like berating these little girls in the front row because they had Darby face paint, so he was like giving them shit and like all like the little dancing and the gestures like on the apron and stuff, and of course like the too sweet and stuff, like little things. It wasn't,
and flips. They were adding flips and shit to stuff that they wouldn't normally do, because that's what everybody said was gonna fucking happen in the match. So like they were adding somersaults and flips and shit to stuff that they were literally just trolling. Unless you really love the Bucks. You didn't realize they were trolling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you saw Matt's like gymnastic routine like in the middle of the ring. So yeah, it's stuff like that, like small things. It wasn't like a big like, oh my god, it was a huge change from where they were. No, it was just little cameos, if you will, here and there.
It was minor. It was small fuck yous to the marks. That's what it is.
Basically,
that's about the gist stuff.
Basically, but I'm here for it. As again,
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that, dude. That match was good. I forget to mention, but like the stream I was watching, I did miss a lot of the show, like because the way my stream would work is it would work good for like 3 minutes and then it would freeze for like 20 seconds, and then it'd work like good livid. Yeah.
Let's go in half on the next time. I went in half.
I was about to say, that's what you get. I got what I paid for. How about let's just put it that way, all right? Yeah, I'll go halves next time. Okay, so the women's match, shortest match of the night. Big surprise there. Not really. Thunder Rosa, Toni Storm. They came out. In my opinion, I'll kick this one off. I think they had a decent match. This felt just like a Dynamite match. However, A, what are your thoughts on the match? And then B, are y'all with me that like this just ain't working with Thunder? Like I hate to be, it sucks because she was like white hot around that time of that Lights Out match with Britt Baker. And then they didn't do nothing with her for over a year afterwards. And then here we are. And it's just, in my opinion, it's just not working, man.
No.
So I liked the match. I thought it was, again, decent. I wish it was longer. But here's the thing, though. I love Thunder Rosa, first of all. But also, I think her reign has been very lackluster. However, I don't think that's her fault. She has the talent. She has a really good gimmick. She has like what it takes to be a really good wrestler. I just wish they would book her at least half as well as they did when Britt was the champion. It's hard to be a good champion when you're not being booked nearly as well as your former champ that has at the time, or even then, has been the best women's champion that the company has seen. So it's really hard to like meet the same standards when you're not even being booked the same way. Like how you said, she kind of like that Lights Out match in 2020. Was it 2020? Yeah, because then was it 2021? I think that the first Lights Out match, and it was really good. And Thunder Rosa was red hot, and I think everyone was behind her taking the title off Britt, but then she kind of went away from the title scene, and then when she came back, I think she was still red hot, and then eventually she won the belt, which I think everyone loved, including myself, but they haven't done much with her since.
Well, the first thing they did was they had her get jumped by Nyla Rose.
Well, and that's
in
not her fault.
Texas.
She didn't book herself that way.
No. I know. I'm not upset at Thunder Rosa. I'm just saying where we are at, it's not working. Yeah, I'm not saying this is due to any part by Rosa's end. Like I'll rarely will I ever blame like the wrestler for something not working.
Exactly.
She got fucked like Hangman did. They did them both dirty.
Thank you.
At the same fucking time, really, and almost the same amount.
Everyone said. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go off on a little side tangent. Everyone is here blaming Hangman for his reign, which I thought was still pretty fucking good, but it's not his fault.
It wasn't as bad as people make it out to be. It wasn't nearly as bad as people make it out to be.
And also, the same could be said with Thunder Rosa. Both Hangman and Thunder Rosa. I feel like same treatment, different title.
It's the same. No, it's the same fucking thing to them.
They won a title from a star that was the best champion that the company has seen for those belts. How are you supposed to top Kenny Omega's title reign when you're booking Hangman with his title the way that you are? It's not gonna happen. Hangman can only do so much as a wrestler, and then you throw him up against someone like CM Punk that is of course gonna be more over than Hangman. Of course people are gonna say that his reign is lackluster.
By the time they put CM Punk in there, their decision was made up. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, not even that. It was all those dumbass like mini feuds. Like even with the
Lance
Cole
Archer one was like pointless. Good match, fun match, but
no, that's what I'm
waste
saying. Like,
of time.
He didn't have no bad matches. Like he's a fucking bomb wrestler. But like when you put your champion in those positions, and in most of those matches and cards, he was wrestling like in the first fucking hour or something. It's like how are we supposed to take your champion serious when you don't even have him in the fucking main event?
Yeah, so he wasn't closing much.
You have to book him like a champion, especially when you have champions before them like Britt Baker and champions like Kenny Omega. Yeah, you have to book him the same.
Belt collector.
You have to book him then like just as good, if not better, if you want them to really be the top star of that division. And then in Hangman's case, of the company, you can't just give them mediocre booking and then expect them to like be the top contenders. It's not gonna happen. You can only go so much. So it's not Hangman's fault. It's not Rosa's fault.
Yeah.
Fuck everyone who says that.
No, exactly. That's my thing. Like I said, where I'm at with it is at this point, I'm all about Jade. As far as that women's division goes, I think Jade is the one that they're handling the best, and with her and then Deeb. Like if it's not Jade unifying the titles, I'd like to see Deeb go back at Thunder Rosa and get that belt back because I think Deeb deserves to be a world. I mean, she's for one. I hate that. Now, granted, I know they don't really have like the strongest working relationship with NWA anymore, but I hate that you had Deeb was the one who took that NWA women's title off Rosa, and they never once brought that up in their feud. Right. That Deeb has already dethroned her once before.
Well, first that feud was like, I hate to say it, it was pretty like. It was a dismal feud because Thunder Rosa had literally no involvement in the feud. She spoke like once. She did one promo and Serena Deeb was doing everything else. You had Dustin Rhodes come out on behalf of Thunder Rosa and Deeb slapped the shit out of him. I'm like, how are you having someone else be more involved in the buildup of for a match than your own champion? It's ridiculous.
No, I'm right there with you. I just at this point, I know she's a fellow Texan. I'm sorry, Savannah, but
no, and I agree. But again, that's why I just wanted to make it.
On.
I hate to say it, but I feel it's just been so underwhelming that I could see where people want to just move on to the next champion, and it's very unfortunate. But again, I just want to make my statement clear that it's in no way the champion's fault.
That or just turn her heel. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off one more time.
Oh no, but I was gonna say that could I feel like sometimes heel turns are the way to go, but it shouldn't have to get to that for some people. Yeah. She has the talent. She has the gimmick. She's got, the followers. Fans love her. She's over. I
feel like if she had lost to Deeb and then chased Deeb, I feel like it would have gained more ground with her.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think they dropped the ball on her too.
Yeah. No, I mean, I haven't really heard much from Deeb since she's got that tag team with Mercedes Martinez. Yeah. They got that going on where they're trying to outdo each other. They're beating up jobbers and stuff. Yeah. So my match of the night, and I think RN, I think you said your match of the night too. Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy, man, boy, these guys, fantastic, man. And you know what? I love it because you had people kind of like changing their opinions. We saw it with one of our own, Will Gray, from Bot Spots and Chair Shots. As the match progressed, Will gradually came around more and more to Will Ospreay, and he was like, "Yo!" And by the end of the match, he was like, "I'm a fan now," you know. And that speaks to the power of these two guys. You have Ospreay criticized oftentimes for all the flippy shit. And then, of course, Orange Cassidy with his comedy shtick. Also, by the way, hilarious side note here. This is also the match that they brought Jim Ross out for. Of all the matches you could have had Jim Ross out, you had to put him on the comedy match. You know that had to rile him up. I think that's hilarious. Oh, yeah. But no, this was great.
It did everything we said it was going to do. It was going to alienate people, have people pissed off. But my thing is like, everyone here recognizes, even if you don't know or watch a lot, that Will Ospreay, top 5 wrestler in the fucking world. Why would he accept this match if he thought it was going to be some bullshit that would hurt his image or hurt what he has going on? It made no, like, you know what I'm saying? That's when I trust, bring up some NBA shit, trust the process. So if Will Ospreay, who's my favorite wrestler at the moment, is telling me I agree to fucking work with Orange Cassidy, I knew this match was going to be a fucking banger.
Yeah, I know a lot of people thought this was going to be the bathroom break match and mostly because I believe
fucking thought that was an
idiot. Whoever actually went to the bathroom, whoever went back, who actually went to the bathroom and got concessions, dude, get your money back. That's honestly the match that you probably want your money like invested in the most. Like that was your money's worth right there. But of course, because mostly Orange Cassidy, because, you know, his comedic side, you know, that's why people are like, oh my God, this is so ridiculous. Why would you put him for the title? It's so obvious Ospreay's going to win. But again, I take note. I don't have anything against either of them. First of all, I fucking love Will Ospreay. And Orange Cassidy, I mean, I think he's funny, but I never doubted him. I never thought like, oh, he's just a comedic relief guy and he's not going to do well. Like, he knows how to freaking wrestle and he knows how to put on a damn good match. And that yesterday was just, yesterday, it's Monday. Prime example of like, how you need to, like, again, kind of like Aaron said, trust the process. You need to just wait and see. Don't be so quick to shit on something until you see what exactly you can make of it.
Right.
A really good match. I'm so glad that, you know, we got to see the best from both sides. It was really, again, that's all I can really say. It was a really good match. It exceeded, I'm pretty sure, everyone's expectations. I expected a lot, but it was a lot more than I expected, and it was really good.
Yeah, no, Ospreay still got the win. I love that Orange Cassidy. It's just not like the first time he's done it, but I think it was accentuated like perfectly in this match. That the Orange Cassidy's style of you know, his lazy offense was being used more or less to just continue to get into Ospreay's head until he was making mistakes. You know, and I thought that was good because everybody knows that he goes lazy until he remembers he's a wrestler. Like, this actually felt like he was doing it to get an advantage in the match, and I thought that was pretty cool. Ospreay won with that hidden blade, and then who was it? It was Aussie Open attacked Orange Cassidy after the match, and then we got Shibata. Shibata came out. Now I'm very green with Shibata. I know that he's a big deal. I know that he had essentially a career-ending injury where he headbutted, I forget who, but bled in the brain and was forced to retire.
2017 he retired.
Yeah, and then it was still fairly recently that he's I'm assuming he's competing again.
At Wrestle Kingdom he had his a conventional, it was like a 5-minute or 10-minute conventional match. It was like expedition, whatever you want to call it.
Exhibition.
Exhibition. He had a 10-minute exhibition match. It was really good for those 10 minutes. And again, just I guess overall it was just good to see him back, you know, wrestling. But yeah, I cannot wait to see now.
Well, again, it is too. It's not like he hasn't been running. Like all those recruits you saw, all the young lions and everybody that came out of the dojo, he's the one training them. So
yeah,
he's still in there tangling with people and messing around, staying in great shape. It just hasn't been any like actual meaningful matches, which I don't want to see him. Like, I loved him. He was probably my favorite New Japan wrestler. And the headbutts and shit, and like the strong style and shit, like, I'm so glad. Like, I hope he never wrestles again, not because I just don't want to hear another one of those like gone too soon fucking situation because
Yeah.
he was literally my favorite wrestler in New Japan.
I think his like if he is going to have a match, it should be like a special occasion. Like
Right.
again, kind of like his first match back. You know, that was a really special occasion. But again, it has to be something like you'll only see that one time, and you don't need to see it again. You know, in the future, or you don't need to see him back. Only like a one and done situation for a special reason. That's the only time we should see him, just for his safety mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it teased. It was potentially teased something between him and Ospreay. He chased Ospreay off. Orange Cassidy put his aviators on Shibata, and it was a fantastic fucking image watching that shit. But yeah, I'm gonna go with what y'all saying because you guys sound like you understand the situation a lot better than me. But yeah, his drop kick in the corner, by the way, is fantastic. God, he hits that thing so violently. Love it. So back to the worst kept secret we said of the night. Claudio Castagnoli. Thank you. I'm fucking horrible tonight. I'm sorry, y'all. He was obviously Brian Danielson's hand-picked replacement for the match against Zack Sabre Jr. And then is going to go on to Blood and Guts. And he's the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club. Man, probably the loudest fucking pop of the night from the fans seeing this man out there. It looked like a star amongst his peers, looked like a legitimate star. The only negative shit that I saw floating around on Twitter and all of that was essentially just anti-AEW stuff to begin with.
Right.
I didn't see anything that deserved any merit.
I'm happy to see the Ricola bomb back.
Yeah, people were like giving it shit. They're like, that match was so bad. I'm like, how? Where?
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't see anything criticizing the match. I just
saw some people saying that.
What it was because there's a certain type of match that Zack Sabre Jr. has.
Yeah.
And that he didn't have that match with Claudio because that's not the type of match that he has. And it was, I feel like more people are mad about it being like a showcase for him and then us not getting the match we expected out of Zack Sabre Jr. That's what I think it was mainly about.
I guess I get it, but I still thought it was a really good match. I get it's not the exact style that Zack Sabre Jr. does, but I mean, I feel like especially after the beginning, that should have been like, look, this is what could have been. You could have had him just do the neutralizer, and that's it.
One,
but
two,
no,
three.
we got a good match. Or Zack Sabre Jr. did get some really good offense. It was still a decent, really good match.
Yeah. So. Did I read that correctly? People were interpreting as the neutralizer was laid to rest in the beginning of the match, and it's the Ricola bomb because he's Swiss, and there was ads in the '90s about Ricolas that were done by Swiss people, and they were hilarious.
I've been down with those motherfuckers since the Kings of Wrestling. Him and Chris Hero, that's my favorite wrestler favorite independent wrestler all time. So I've met them before in Dayton actually.
So I'm wondering what he's going to be called. I mean, they of course called him Claudio during the event.
Real name.
Yeah, his real name, but he's also copyrighted or trademarked Cesaro just without the A, just CSRO. So yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to incorporate Cesaro some way or another. I don't know, but
that was smart.
we're a broken record at this point. Another great match. You know what I mean? Like this night was just proof that it was just strong wrestling. The most lackluster match was the women's title match, and even then, it was still like a solid C+ match, and that was like arguably your worst match of the night. So yeah, of course these guys kill it. Zack Sabre Jr. is still protected in this. If so, even more now, because he didn't know who his opponent was.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
yeah,
and I'm sure he's going to use that when he's talking about this match in Japan. I guarantee you he's going to bring that up.
He's going to be like, I had no idea what I was up against. He's like, it's still not Danielson. I'll still beat him.
Yeah, I'd love for once, like somebody to like to just kind of say the obvious, but like, dude, it was. Did you not hop online? Everybody knew. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, you can't tell me to see it somewhere.
It's like, we knew. But no, it was good. So the only two matches that had really criticism I saw were the World Championship matches of the night. So I will say this. The heavyweight match is probably the four-way IWGP Heavyweight Championship match. That's the one I saw the least of. My stream was acting up the worst. I pretty much saw the beginning where you had Hangman Page and Okada facing off against Jay White and Adam Cole all the way up until the backstabber, and then my stream was just garbage. And then it finally came to after the match was over. I did see, however, it looks like there was an injury that took place. People during the show were saying they didn't know if it was a separated shoulder or what it was. It's now coming out that they believe that Adam Cole suffered a concussion at some point, which fucked up the ending, because the way it happened was Okada went for the Rainmaker on Adam Cole, who ducked it, fell over, Switchblade hit, what's his finisher called?
The Blade Runner.
The Blade Runner on Okada, but then pinned Adam Cole, who obviously had not received a finishing move, and Cole stayed down for the 3. What are you guys' thoughts on the overall match? And I mean, essentially, this one's just for y'all, because that's all I saw.
Yeah. So first of all, I think people are just complaining just to be fucking complainers. Like, people always have shit for everything. Kind of like same people who are giving shit about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Like, fuck you guys, it was good. You just like to bitch and moan about whatever you can. Fuck you, it was a good match. The only reason where I could see there was like confusion, because even then I was pretty triggered. I was like, what the hell was that ending? But then you see more come out and you're like, okay, I'm not upset anymore. It makes sense. So I didn't realize Cole might have suffered a concussion. I think it's the separated shoulder, because again, when Okada performs the Rainmaker, he grabs the wrist. And so when Adam Cole ducked it, Okada still had hold of the wrist. And there's a video, you can see his shoulder like popping out. It looks really ugly. So I thought that's why like they kind of ended the match abruptly, but it probably could have both. Poor Adam Cole probably had both, injuries going on. So it makes more sense why, Cole was probably the one who was supposed to be pinned in the first place. You didn't want Okada, having his shoulders pinned by Jay again. So that's probably why he just hit the Blade Runner on Okada and then just, pinned Adam Cole. Because I think, no offense, I think that's why Adam Cole was in the match to begin with. Because I don't know why you have Adam Cole in the match. I'm not saying that I was against it, but you have him in the match right after Jay White specifically explained to him why he wasn't his opponent. Because he's like, well, you lost to Hangman twice. So it's like, well, now he's in the match. Again, I think it's just for that reason. But still, I give flowers to all 4 performers. That pop for Kazuchika Okada, as he fucking deserves.
Dude, he's legitimately a star world over. That
like
him and Tanahashi were getting bigger cheers than their AEW counterparts.
Exactly. Again, I just goes to show that Okada should not have lost the belt at Dominion. You saw and I know it's obviously heel shit, but Jay's all here saying that I'm the reason why the asses are in the seats. I'm the reason why, everyone's happy to see me. I'm the reason why this is happening. And I'm thinking, dude, you had Okada coming out right before you. Okada got like one of the biggest pops of the night, and you didn't get shit, dude. You did not get no crowd reaction. So I'm like, that should go to show like where, the fans are as far as,
I think he should have beat him though, because I mean, it was getting to the point where there was no return for him coming back, losing to Okada fucking 15 times in a fucking row. I mean, he had to get at least one on, and I'm glad, like you said, they didn't put this one on Okada either, because they didn't want him to have 2 in a row, which I understand, because he is the ace, he is the biggest person in their promotion. But like me personally, like I'm glad, because I'm sick of these spot runs with Okada. Like somebody wins the belt, Okada gets it back. So he loses it. Yeah. Somebody, what I'm saying? Like, give somebody a run.
I guess I just also would have loved if, I don't think I would have loved that if an AEW star would have beaten him. But, I guess we would have probably seen more AEW, defenses, and more defenses against AEW stars. And I think, honestly, people would probably want to see these defenses with Okada. I don't see anyone saying they want Danielson and Jay White. I don't think these people were hyped about Hangman versus Jay White. They wanted Hangman and Okada.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's mostly the reason, if I'm being totally honest. But, yeah, still a good match. Flowers to all of them. I don't care what people say. I get the ending, but now that there's reason for the ending that's been revealed, stop fucking complaining. It was good. It was a good match. And again,
I think it was anticlimactic. That's all.
I think the only reason why I think that is just because I think it was kind of obvious that Jay was going to retain again. You don't want to just the reign has been 2 weeks long. I don't think Okada was going to win it back after 2 weeks, or else why the fuck did you lose it in the first place? He should have lost it then at Forbidden Door.
I thought he was going to win it. I think that's why I thought it was because he had just lost it, and it would have been a chance for the American people to see him crowned and
I
see
guess
that, you know what I'm saying?
that is
he's
very
worth the
true.
hype. You know what I'm saying?
That is very true. But also, I guess back like outside of the ring, he's gonna be a dad soon in like August. So I'm pretty sure he's not gonna want to be consistently defending a title, like the world title more specifically. So I kind of thought that Jay was going to win it. I don't think Adam Cole was going to win. I knew Hangman wasn't going to win because he's also a dad. I don't think he was going to be willing to go do a whole ass title run in Japan. But it was still a good match, and I'm glad it was really good chemistry on all four parts. They're all really talented as hell. So just stop complaining. It was good. It was really good.
Besides that botch, I actually meant to mention one other botch that happened earlier in the night, and I apologize because I'm going to be backtracking just a little bit here. Did y'all catch when Sting?
Murderhawk?
Huh?
I thought you were saying when Murderhawk tried to do that cannonball shit about murdering himself.
No, that was that one too. But no, this one's hilarious because it wasn't actually a botched move; it was just a botched spot. Sting was in the match was in the ring with the Young Bucks and Phantasmo. And he threw the Young Bucks, both of them, out the ring while Phantasmo wasn't looking. And Phantasmo's cheering to the crowd, right? Sting follows the Bucks out, and Phantasmo turns around and looks confused. Well, he was supposed to look confused because Sting was supposed to be there to jump him. But when Sting followed the Bucks out, one of them literally had to tell him, like you can see them tell him and point him, go back in the ring. And Phantasmo kind of had to like look back and then look back
around
again.
and did it again.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude! I chuckled so hard when I saw that shit.
I forgot about that. Yeah, it was Nick. I think he told Sting. Sting like grabbed her. He was like, "Get the fuck back in the ring."
No, he told me, he's like, "Bro, he's like, you just put us on Botchamania. That's what you did right there." Like,
well, and props to Phantasmo for this. Like, he kept the same, like, you know, didn't really break character. He kind of looked confused, but like he was supposed to look confused as Sting. He kept the same, you know, didn't break
He
character.
literally turned around and did the exact same thing he had did. Like he just like hit
Like,
rewind.
I'm just gonna turn my back to him again. That's all I'm gonna do. I'll just turn my back.
Yeah.
I forgot about that too. That shit
well, speaking of, actually, here's a good little segue between that and now back to the IWGP match. The Bucks came out to check on Cole, but they were about to go check on Hangman, and Kyle O'Reilly, who came out with the Bucks, kind of like pulled him back. I was like, "What are you doing? You know, check on this."
I fucking hate that the Bucks can't pick a side. God damn it! I hate that it's like we're good guys at heart, but our bad guy group tells us to do bad. Like,
bro, you know what it is, and waiting on fucking Kenny to get here, man.
Well,
God damn it, dude.
Well, first of all, I knew Kenny was going to show up because he confirmed it. He said he wasn't going to be there, and he was pissed about it, which I mean, I am too. I wish Kenny would have shown up. But I can kind of see where you're conflicted. If like think about it, not so much in wrestling, but think about it more like the emotional appeal. Like if you have two different people that you genuinely care about, and they're completely like against each other, it's kind of hard to pick sides. I've been there before with like friends. Like I have friends that absolutely hate each other, but I'm like the mutual, and I'm just like, you know,
but this is really ain't their fault. This is Hangman's fault. Hangman turned his back on them. You know what I'm saying? That's why I give it. That's why I like it.
Aaron, I can go on for like hours on why that's not true. Okay, like Hangman, like when you're not sure of yourself, to keep it short, when you're not sure of yourself, your mind does some very fucked up things.
Absolutely. No, I agree, but he still did it. Like he set their relationship down this course.
Here's the thing though, back in, was it 2019? I think it was late 2019, or was it early 2020?
Yeah, when he was going through when he was doing like the drunk angle or whatever.
No, not even about the drunk angle. It's just when he wanted to take a break, he was feeling defeated and he felt like he couldn't hang, or he wasn't at the level as with the Bucks and Kenny. So he wanted to step aside, and they made him feel like shit for it. Imagine those are the people that are closest to you, and they're the ones kicking you while you're down. You just need a little bit of time by yourself, and they're like giving you shit about it. Like I could see where like you're trying to like you're conflicted, and I think the Bucks are maybe starting to feel what Hangman has been feeling this whole time. So maybe they're starting to relate to him on an emotional level, and so that's why they feel trapped. They feel stuck, and then Kenny's gonna come back and probably set them straight.
I just hate when you get a faction so big with so many like strong players that
it's hard to keep track.
No, and they don't like capture world titles or anything like that. Like they're not in the main event. It's like you literally had Adam Cole, the Bucks, and Red Dragon. They could be coming out and just like swarming people like one at a time, but it's like it's always the same thing. They break up into tag teams and lose the small matches individually.
In kayfabe land, that's Adam Cole's fault. He's trying to keep the peace between both of them that clearly don't like each other.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like that in New Japan too. Like Los Ingobernables and Chaos. Like Chaos never fucking comes out and helps Okada.
They don't come out together, but they're still in the faction.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, like
more so LIJ than like LIJ's more cohesive than Chaos, I believe. Like,
right, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you didn't know anybody, you wouldn't know that fucking Okada was the leader of a whole ass faction with 35 fucking people.
Yeah.
I'm like, why does no one ever come help him when Club and fucking
Gato is always like in like right by he's like Jay's little puppy, okay? He's right behind him on his leash, every single match Jay is in, no matter if it's for a title, if it's a tag match, if it's just a classic one-on-one, he's always there. I don't see anyone from Chaos ever coming up helping out poor Okada unless they're tagging with them, unless they're in the match.
And even that, he's tags with people from other fucking factions or just people that aren't in a faction more than he does with his actual faction. That's the part I never got. Like I never get that part.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and turn it over to this main event. Moxley, Tanahashi. Man, this match delivered. Moxley bled like a motherfucker. Moxley just bleeds all the time. Now, he's the new Flair, man. He's the new Flair as far as that goes.
That's the only thing of his old character that I still hate is that he has to fucking get bloody every match. I'm finally on board with him, even with his promos and shit, but like, you don't have to fucking bleed every
bled a lot
match.
too. He bled a lot. You thought Tanahashi was bleeding because of how much Moxley was bleeding.
He was wearing Moxley's blood like a fucking shirt. There was so much of it on him.
I think Moxley's got like one wound he just keeps reopening is what it is.
I know it's got like the reoccurring scar tissue that he's
I think he's got one. I at least I hope that's it. That way his forehead doesn't look like hamburger like in the next 10 years.
Or like freaking like Jay White's freaking shit like
oh man. Yeah. The blood I don't mind him bleeding. It's me clutching at straws here. Yano was ringside during Forbidden Door. I wanted to see more Yano. But dude, these guys killed it once again. They crushed it. I don't know how much to say. I mean, Tanahashi, this is what was crazy is, it's one thing for Okada to be getting cheered in the 4-way match. You know what I mean? But you literally have like arguably AEW's biggest healthy star right now in Moxley, and Tanahashi was getting cheered over Moxley. People were booing Moxley. That is a beautiful thing, man.
That is the power of Hiroshi Tanahashi. He's
the ace.
Not only is he ace, but he's kind of like the John Cena. And what I mean by that is like he's never gonna turn heel. I don't think he's just too much of a sweetheart. He's like the top good guy that is gonna be like there again.
They brought that up on the show too. Like that was how JR and them. That's what maybe it was the Scout described him. Like if you want a comparison, think John Cena.
Yeah,
they dropped John Cena's name, right?
Yeah, he's the big match man. He can hang. Doesn't matter his age. He could still go. He could still have as of late, but not his fault. He could still, if they let him, have a nice long decent title reign. You want to know how good Tanahashi is? They gave the heavyweight title, the heavyweight title to Tanahashi when Kenny Omega was going to leave. At Wrestle Kingdom 2019, Hiroshi Tanahashi beat Kenny Omega for the IWGP heavyweight title, and he, had a nice long reign with it, if I remember correctly. But I guess you have to be really fucking good to be given a title for your biggest star that's gonna leave. Kenny Omega was leaving, so who do they turn to pick up I guess not pick up the pieces, but who do you turn to pass the torch, if you will, make sure that this company is in good hands. Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace, I know people say, well, he can't go anymore. He's so old. I'm like, yes, he fucking can. And going up against John Moxley was a really good example of that.
Me not seeing his old library, because I always hear he can't go like he used to. I will tell you, he held up just fine last night. With me watching, I think that was my first Tanahashi match I've ever seen. This didn't look like a guy that was struggling to keep up at all. You know what I
Right.
mean? Did he go like harder in his younger days? I believe it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but
for sure.
but he still
Shit,
held.
he even
he's-
did even though like the comparison to John Cena, I think like overall, but like his wrestling style to me is more, especially when he was younger, was more Seth Rollins's. Even down to him doing the high five flow, which is a fucking frog splash. So like, no, he can fucking go. Like, and you said, a little bit of rest and give him some time to get ready for it. And look, put on a fucking banger.
Yeah, no, and exactly that they did. I mean, he held it like his style and his match is still like at an elite level though, like a main event level. It was great in my opinion. I really wish I could have saw him win. Of course, it was not. There was a great spot. He kicked out at a 1 count from Moxley, and he kicked out of the Death Rider.
Late in the match too. So
Yeah. No, it was good. The only thing that kind of sucked had nothing to do with him. It was the fact that like after the match was over and Moxley had won, they did the blood and guts brawl for the third time in 3 shows. So they ended Dynamite, Rampage, and now Forbidden Door with the same blood and guts brawl, leading us into Wednesday. I actually believe this brawl was more or less just because they wanted to get Claudio back on the screen. Like, I feel like that was just their way just to get him back on TV.
Literally, the minute that brawl started, everyone just said, "Oh, fuck Tana, who the hell is that guy laying on the apron by himself?"
He had laid there the whole time, man. I felt so bad.
They didn't let him help once. They didn't, let John Moxley, or let me help you up. Let me shake your hand properly and give you the props you deserve. I'm like, that personally, disrespectful.
Well, they did get the handshake. They did get the handshake. Afterwards, yeah, it was,
How
man.
end the pay-per-view like that? Literally end the pay-per-view.
It's what RN and I always say about AEW. In as much as because I mean it's my favorite promotion, but I completely agree. It's just they overthink it, man. They try to do too much. They're always trying to do too much.
I say Tony Khan's a fan with money. I mean.
Yeah, but I think it's more or less they just try to cram as much stuff as they can, and not let moments breathe.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and I know why they do it like that. And I think a reason why I don't really shit on them about it, even though I say it and I bring it up all the time, because I know they're trying to give the fans what they want, but they never give us a chance to enjoy all the fruits of their fucking labor. Because, like you said, they're just fucking shoving shit in the bag.
You have no time to taste it.
You can't even fucking zip the bag up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. But overall, pay-per-view wise, I was thoroughly entertained. For a 5-hour show, it didn't feel like it for me personally. What about y'all?
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, it didn't feel like a 5-hour show. I was like, really? It's like as each match went on. After Cassidy and Ospreay, it was really hard to believe that there was only 3 matches left on the card. I was like, really? There's only 3 matches? I was very.
I just think the buy-in was too fucking long. But other than that, like I said, it was a good show. Like, I don't think it was over the top, or I don't think it met the expectations that they put on it and everything, but it was still a dope ass show. I mean, the things I cared about the most got some plays, so like I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, and again, I really wish that brawl didn't happen at all. I really wish they would have just ended the pay-per-view with Mox and Tana showing respect. You know, they just put on a hell of a main event, and then you're just gonna have one of the the opponents of the main event just off to the side, and no one acknowledges them at all. Like, that's how you're gonna let them go off the air. I'm still upset at that, but again, it should have just been them showing respect. You know, if you really wanted to bring something out, just have Jericho come out like he did that one time when Tana showed up, to confront Jon Moxley.
They could have just left something for the live crowd. They could have went off the air like you said, and they could have done the brawl for the live crowd, or they could have done some comedy spot. You know what I mean? Yeah, but once again, it's just they're trying to pack as much stuff as they can in there, and they move too quickly, and we don't get to register a lot of stuff.
Well, again, you didn't have to do that at the end, though.
Exactly. No, and exactly that. Like they did it on Rampage and Dynamite. They didn't need to do it at the pay-per-view, but big deal. That said, it's minor gripe for an overall great pay-per-view in my opinion. But yeah, that was it, man. I want to thank you guys. Thank you, Savannah, for coming on the show, and
thanks, girl.
Yeah, Marie and everybody else that joined us in the live chat.
Marie, I would love to chat with Marie more because she also knows her stuff.
Get her on ShElite. Has she been on ShElite yet?
No, she hasn't. I need to tell
Caitlin. Oh my god, ball drop.
Fucking put put Marie on ShElite, yo. It's
Well,
you guys will have a great show.
I also want her to be on my show also because she really knows her New Japan.
No.
Like I would, one of these times I'll I need to have it be myself, RN, and Marie, like the three of us. Let's do a New Japan.
Let's do it, man.
Money.
There you go.
But yeah, thank y'all for joining. Make sure to tune in to us next week, 9 p.m. Right here on twitch.tv/SmackDrop. Before we go, Savannah, I'll give you one more chance. Let everybody know where they can find you and everything that you're doing.
Oh gosh, okay, I got the script again. So you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter, mostly Instagram. I'm way more active there. On @Y2Garcia with an underscore. If there's no underscore, it's not me. That mistake has been made. If you want to see more of ShElite Showcase, including myself, you can follow Katie on Twitter at Katie Wrestling 13, and the link tree's in her bio, which will take you to all things ShElite Showcase, including our show that we do on Twitch live every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the new time that we started doing it. We're close to getting our custom URL on YouTube, so please go subscribe if you haven't yet. If you're interested in listening to it instead of watching, we are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. And also we have merch. We have Pro Wrestling Pro Choice shorts that I really highly encourage to invest in because all the proceeds are going to Planned Parenthood, political reasons, obviously. But you know what? As women, we feel like, this is our way of representing, what we believe in. We also have classic logo merch. So if you want to check that out, you can as well. Thank you to Justin. I forgot to mention that in the beginning, but I'm glad I was able to plug it out. Justin at AKA Heel Tactics. He makes all the music for ShElite Showcase. He's incredible. So please go check him out. And if you want to see other things that we do, Katie has 2 other shows, Inside the Mind Of, which is an interview show in the wrestling community that she does. And she also has In the Crowd, which is a collab/game show that she does with other podcasters. And then, of course, like I mentioned, my show, which I'm going to get RN and Marie on at some point, that I do occasionally. I'm starting with just the New Japan pay-per-views, but I hopefully, as I'm getting closer to finishing school, I will be able to do more like weekly stuff at the very least. So yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome.
Yeah.
RN, anything going on with Mean Jelly Bean?
Nah, we got some stuff dropping here shortly. Nothing new though.
All right, man. Well, once again, thank you, everybody. Until next time, y'all have a good one.
See y'all Sunday.
Bye.
Hey, this is Bret the Hitman Hart, the best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.